Hey guys, what's happening? What's happening? I'm out here brainstorming. I got up this morning and I said, you know, I need a project. So I did my hike. After I did my hike, I said, you know, I got to get in the shop and get some stuff knocked out. Now, I glued these up here. I glued these ends up a week ago, and they've been sitting around here. I've been on other projects, but you can see what I did here. I glued two studs together, and then I added a half-inch piece here. And I got to thinking, I said, you know, why am I doing this? I can take three of those studs that I used to frame out the grafting shack. Well, if you glue three of those together, you've got 7.5 inches, and that's what you're going to need on this inside of this box here, is 7.5 inches. So you got 3.5, 3.5, and then a half gives you 7. But if you go ahead and just glue those three studs together, you've got your 7.5. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy some of those skinny 2x4s, set up my chop saw, and burn out a bunch of them. Now you want to cut them 10 inches long. This plywood here, you cut it 21.25 long. All right. You can see I put in 3 screws. You're out of one sheet of plywood. This was kind of pricey plywood. It was $59 for the sheet. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ply in that thing. Looks like good quality plywood. Thought I'd give it a shot. See, I've been buying that stuff good on one side. This stuff is beautiful. It's almost like cabinet grade stuff here. How much longer it'll last, I don't know, but the others, I'm sure it'll last as long as anything else I've got out there. So yeah, this, you know, I've been fooling with these beefy beehives for quite a few years now, and the more I fool with them, the more I like them. Now I got a brainstorm. By the way, when you cut out 8 of these, one sheet will give you 16 of these sides. I put these together, just finished up putting these together. They're sitting in drying mode right now, and they'll get dipped in preservative, and then they'll set for 24. Then we'll slap a coat of paint on them. If this rooster don't quit crowing, he's going to be chicken soup. Okay, we're going to have chicken, or just as small as he is, I think all we'll get out of him is some broth. But anyway, your scrap pieces, what you end up with, there's no waste because they make your handles. And I found the best way to go on these handles. Oh, well, let me back up. It's so sweet building these boxes, because with this 2-inch material, you just lay this up. When I assemble this box, I lay it on its side. I construct this laying on its side. I'll take one piece, side piece, and I set it here, and I put the frame rest to me like this, and I'll put it on the edge of the steel top table, and then I will line up both of these, and then I carefully lift the lid off. I shoot glue down through, Bond Tight 3, and then I take my brad nailer, and I just run it up here by feel, and bap, bap. Same there, same thing over here. That holds it together for you. I pre-drill. I just take a extra piece and stick it up here to create that line, and then you're going to center. I just eyeball that, but I do put an 1/8 inch pilot down through there. I just set it in my vise here and pilot all my wood first, and then I start assembling. And like I said, everything's Bond Tight 3. This is a very sturdy box. But I got to brainstorming about double screen boards. You know, you take 2 of these boxes. Bees love to build up, just like they do inside your wall or in a whole tree. They love building up. So I don't think I'm going to build any more 8 framers. The only thing I'm going to mass produce is these 5s, okay? And they're so versatile for the simple fact you can stack them up. You can stack them up 3 or 4 high if you want to, whatever. And of course that won't happen in the breeding season because you'll be constantly harvesting resources from these, but have several of these, at least doubles. That'd be a 10 frame hive basically, right? That you can constantly be stealing resources from. Keeping fresh queens in these things so they crank into the max. That's my goal. And so here's my thought on bottoms. You know, you've seen me just recently do a video on bottoms, screen bottoms. Well, I think what I'm going to do in that scenario from now on, I'm going to cut a bottom, just a piece of plywood, that's going to be 22 inches long, 22 inches. That gives me a little hangout here for a landing, okay? I'm going to put a strip on it, ½ inch probably, of plywood all the way around. On my entrance side, I'm going to bring it down to probably a 1 inch entrance here. All right. I'm going to use my screens too. If I've got a delicate nuc I'm putting in this thing that could be robbed out, I'm going to put my 8th screen on here with a ½ inch lift up door. Okay. It'll go down here on the bottom, right? It's going to be a solid, all it is going to be a solid piece of plywood, but I'm going to bore two, you know, on all my lids. It's just a cut to size piece of plywood. I center a hole that's 2 3/4, and I just take, but I don't use the standard mason jar anymore. I got rid of those. I threw them away. I buy wide mouth. They're so much better. You've got a plastic lid that's not going to rust up, and you melt one little hole. Take a needle, T-pin or something, and heat it up with your torch and melt the hole in the center of that. Just one hole is all you need. You don't go nuts with it with the drink hole on them things. So that'll go there. You got your lids. They're universal for everything. This bottom's going to be universal, but here's the sweet spot on this whole deal, guys. Here's the sweet spot on this bottom that I'm building. I'm going to bore 2 holes in that bottom board. Just picture my board that's going to be, this thing is measuring 8 3/4. Basically 8 3/4 on the outside of this box. I'm going to have a 3/4 by ½ inch strip all the way around. And then on the front, like I said, I'll have a strip come down here to probably 2 inch opening, and then I'll put a screen over there with a ½ inch flip up door on it, okay? In that bottom, I'm going to bore 2 holes, 2 3/4, like one over here and one over here. I'm going to put 8 screen, I'm going to cut 8 screen, 4 inch squares of 8 screen, and I'm going to put on the top, I'm going to staple screen on both. I'm going to flip it over and staple screen on the bottom. Now I have a double screen board. What do we do with that? When spring comes and you want to do some splitting, go and get these set up in the fall where they're double stacked. Now you've got 10 frames of resources. Now you're going to come in the spring, and you better start in my state around February, and every week go in these colonies and start breaking off the bottom, lifting this up, peeking under there for swarm cells. Or if she's really maxed out, you can quickly go through your hive and check, see if you got any swarm cells, supersedures, well, whatever. Harvest those and put them over in your 2 frame nucs. You're going to build your 2 frame nucs exactly the same way, but you're going to only use 1 stud. You're going to build a box just like this, but you're going to bring it down. All these dimensions are the same, except you're only using 1 stud. And 2 frames will go in there just really sweet, as you can see. Right there with 1 stud. And you've got just enough room there, plenty of room to get your frame in and out. That's all you do on a 2 framer. So I'm thinking 2s and 5s is the way I'm going to be running this operation here. I did back in the day in the 80s, ran 3 framers, but just use your 2 frames for mating all queens. As soon as they get mated, get them into these 5s. But here's the trick on this. When you get ready to split these bees, come into your hive. You don't even need to look for your queen. Don't even worry about her. Go in this hive and see how many resources you got here. If you've got plenty of pollen, put a couple frames of pollen down here and equalize the brood and food in both of these chambers, right? You've got a bottom board on here and the entrance is looking this way. Take another bottom board and throw on here looking this way. Set that second box on top where you got your 2 screens. The bees can't touch each other. They can't lick each other, all right? So once you do that, wherever this queen is not in, they're going to say, we got to get building a queen here. So come back in 4 or 5 days after you made this split, and you're going to know instantly where your queen is, because you're not going to have any eggs or nothing in there. Where you don't have a queen, you're going to have a queen cell. Now you can split that thing off and take it somewhere else and set that colony up. Or here's your other deal. As you're popping off virgins out of your incubator, you can be installing a virgin into this split off, whether it was on the bottom or the top. So that's Steve-O's brainstorming for today. I think it's going to work out great, guys. Absolutely great. What's working out great is that AC room I got out there, my man cave grafting shack. I went out there a while ago. Interior of that building, guys, was 99 degrees. Yes. She's a hot one today, buddy, let me tell you. Inside my shack, it was 78 degrees. I set that little thermostat on that unit at 78, and she's holding just perfect right there. And that incubator's running excellent. So let's keep our fingers crossed. I'll hook up with you tomorrow. We're going to go back in there. I put a second round of cells in that thing. Let's see if they've capped them off. And if they have, we'll pull those and put them in the incubator. And tomorrow, I got to take those cells that are in there now, take them out and put them in the cages where the queens can, when they merge, they got a cage to crawl into. Then I'm going to take from my good hive a frame of larva, eggs, small stuff, bees and all, and put into that cell builder. I'm going to shut the lid on it. I'm going to put a date on the top. I'll come back in 30 days and see if we got a queen in there. I'm going to take her out of the same hive that I've been robbing to make grafts. Okay? That's it, guys. Be happy, be strong. We got to keep getting her on, you know that, and keep building these boxes. I want 1,000 of these by spring, okay? So get to work, boys. See ya.